Am I the asshole for making my husband fly coach while I flew first class? My husband's 33 male company recently chose him to attend a conference in Miami. They chose just him and a few of his coworkers out of a ton of candidates, so it was quite the honor. The company told them that they were allowed to bring their spouses or partners, but that they wouldn't be springing for plane tickets for us. So if they wanted to bring us, they'd have to buy tickets out of their own pockets. My husband asked me, 32 female, if I wanted to go, and I emphatically told him that I did. I'd never been to Florida in my life, and I thought it'd be a fun trip. He told me great, but when we went to the website to buy tickets, he asked if I'd be okay with flying coach, even though he'd be flying first class on the way there, coach on the way home. I asked him why we couldn't just fly together, and he replied, "First class is just so expensive. I feel bad, but we just can't afford it, especially if we want to go out and have fun in Miami. The flight is only a few hours." This really bothered me. I understood that a first class ticket for me would strain our budget a bit, but what kind of man lives it up in first class while his wife sits in coach? I asked him just that, and he responded, "Come on. I'm taking you along on my work trip. I earned my first class seat by working hard. It's my reward." But I insisted that if we truly couldn't afford a first class seat for me, we could have. It would have hurt a little, but we could have. That he as a gentleman should give up his seat for me. We argued, but he ultimately agreed to give me his seat. We had a good time in Miami, but he's been a little mad at me since, saying that he earned his first class seat, that it was free and cost us nothing, unlike my plane ticket, and that I should have just let him enjoy what he'd earned instead of guilting him out of it. I think he's being a baby, and that he should have put his wife's comfort above his own, especially since he made the choice to be cheap. We're very close to his parents, so we've taken this argument to them for mediation, but they are split. His father agrees with me that he wasn't being a gentleman, while his mother thinks that he earned his first class seat and that I should have let him have it. So I'll ask all of you, am I the asshole? If I were your husband and I had received this honor, but had the option to take my spouse, number one, automatically, yes, I would elect to do that if my spouse was willing to go. Number two, my first course of action probably would have been to see if my first class seat could be credited back toward 2 coach seats if I wasn't looking to spend the money for another first class seat. If that wasn't possible and it had to be 1 first class, 1 coach, I definitely would have given the seat to my wife. However, if she had demanded that I do that, I would feel differently about it. I would still do it, but I might resent that as well. A gentleman would do it, but it's got to be the gentleman's decision. Otherwise, you're just taking his seat and controlling him. And I'm sure he feels emasculated and belittled for that, especially because it was something that he earned and you just demanded it. If you had let him come to that conclusion on his own, none of this would matter. He feels like he didn't have a choice, and he didn't because you didn't give him one. You even stole his thunder, because if he had chose to do this as a gentleman, it would be a big grand gesture. But instead, you demanded that he do it, and instead of being a grand gesture, it was conceding to a whipping.